Hi, welcome back to another Friday night pen thoughts. And so, let's start today's video. So this is episode number 6 of this series of videos. I have a couple of topics to talk to you today. I don't think this will be as long as the previous video, but we will see. So the date today is Lisboa, 16 de abril de 2021. And let's start with the usual stuff. So, I want to show you the pens that I am using today. You already saw them because I wrote here, but the pens are the Senator President, which is a big pen, kind of a Mont Blanc 149 size with the number 6 steel nib. This version, it is also available in gold nib. And this pen, this is the Kaweco 316. This is a newer version of it, and it is quite interesting. I usually talk to you also about the pens that I received during this week, and this is it. This was the pen that I received this week, the Kaweco. It is yellow, but it has a very pale yellow, I would say. Nice thing is that it has that kangaroo there. So these are my two pens for today's video. And so I don't think we have that many topics to talk about today, but let's see. Maybe sometimes I end up talking too much. I want to talk to you also about the recent videos I made, and the most recent were the unboxing of this one, of course, and also the pens for April, which that long video that you already know, and it took me a while to make it, so it was almost in the middle of the month instead of the beginning, but let's see. Too many pens, 39 inked pens for 1 month. So I'm struggling, I'm trying to reduce the number of pens that I have inked every month, but as you can see, it was awful. I failed completely. So, and I also showed the review of the Parker IM, which was the review that was voted in last week's Friday Night Pen Thoughts. Just let me show, before I go to the next stuff that will be made next week or next days, I want to show you the pen's writing, because I usually do that and I was forgetting to do it. So this is the Senator President. It has a fine steel nib, and inside it has, let's call it My Red, which is an ink that I made that is more brown than red, and I made this ink based on the Parker Quink Red and some other inks. The review of this pen is already recorded. I think it's not edited yet and will be posted soon when I have the opportunity to do that. And this is the Kaweco that I showed you a moment before. You can see the kangaroo there, also on the nib with the baby kangaroo. So this is the Kaweco 316 with a fine steel nib. I think this one is a fine, yes. And it has inside Kaweco Midnight Blue. And this is quite fun because I would say this pen, there is a little bleed through, maybe more because of the paper, but I will just show you. This pen is a nice fine nib that has some feedback and is more on the dry side. And here you have the Kaweco with a fine nib, but it is very wet. I would say it is the wettest of my Chinese pens, and you can see it even feathers just a little bit on this paper. I know that this paper is not the most amazing paper out there. This is Muji paper, but that's it. So this was just to show you the pens because I didn't talk about them. The next reviews I will be showing, the next videos I will be posting will be first this one, the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande Pura Grigio Antracite. Very big name with ruthenium trim. So this is very nice pen that I bought from Appleboom, and I'm really happy with it. You voted this. I would make the review of this one or of the orange, the Arancio, and you voted more on the Grigio, so this will be my next review. It is not yet recorded. I think I'm a little bit late, so I don't know exactly when I will post it. Then also another review that I will make, I hope next week, is this one. And this is the Lamy Safari Original Savannah Green. A very beautiful pen with also fine nib, black clip. I think this matte finish, I think this pen is very beautiful, is as beautiful as a Lamy Safari can be, but that said, it has a very beautiful color. And this will be posted, I hope, next week also, but the review is not yet recorded, but I will review that one. That one I need to decide because I want to review one of the Lamy Safari of this year, and that one is the only one that is inked. The other one, the terracotta orange, is not yet. And now, the first question for you about which pen should I review next after those two will be, I will write with this pen because those are already done and the pens are already empty, will be about two pens. So this is your, let's say, future review. This one will go to make some votation on the comments as usual. So the future review will be between, have to choose that, between Kaweco, Perkeo, Light Spring, or another Kaweco. So we have two Kawecos to choose. Today the choice is narrower. Will be the Kaweco AL Sport Silver. Yes, this is the AL Sport, so it is the aluminium pen in silver finish. It's not the sterling silver Kaweco Sport because that one is too expensive, 1,500 euros, so I cannot afford it. And I just dream about one day that Kaweco wants to provide me one as a gift for review, but I don't think they would do that unless they decide they should do. But I think it's too expensive for them to giveaway for review. So these will be my next activities, and we are done with these the channel activity, and we'll go to the other themes. Sometimes I have to make some researches online because I really love pens, I really love these, and I do that because in a way I need it for the channel, and because I just addicted to pens. So I was compiling a list of Spanish stores. So I went online because I wanted to have a list of stores when I need to search stuff. Sometimes stores in Spain have, because there are much bigger stores in Spain than in Portugal, and because Spain is right on our right side, it's sometimes they have free shipping to Portugal. So sometimes it's nice to get things from Spain in that perspective, and they will arrive faster because it's very close. I went online and I searched with Estilográficas España, which means fountain pens Spain, to have my list of stores, because I have some, but I wanted to compile a more decent list, and I found some other stuff. When I did that, I found something that I don't know why I never noticed before. It is a Spanish fountain pen brand, which is interesting. The Spanish fountain pen brand that is widely known is Inoxcrom. Then there were some other older brands. I showed you one, the Super T, last video. And I saw one website that is www.antiguas.es, ES from Spain, España. And this site is a website, this is a T, this is a website of an artisanal manufacturer. We are talking about those independent producers of pens, not about the big brands. So I had to check the website and I saw some amazing stuff, and I want just to share with you some of the stuff I saw, and I'm really interested in that. And so I decided to share with you because I think people that try to make these personal initiatives on pens, they deserve to have some more exposure. And I'm talking about, for example, the very good pen that I received last week from Gravitas that I bought, and also the pens that I received from Perkeo. So these are kind of independent pen manufacturers, Perkeo, Gravitas, and now Antiguas. And I was really amazed. Unfortunately, I am a little bit out of pen budget right now, so I will not buy any of their pens now. I wish I could, maybe later. I don't know really when, but maybe later. And I'm just saying that because I was really impressed with what they have there on the website. They did not sponsor this video. They did not send me any pen for review for free. I was just impressed, and I sent them a message saying, congratulations, you have nice stuff. May I use your photos to put on my video? Just that. And I want to show it because I want to show. It's not because they sent me anything. And now, so you can go to that website and check it. I will put on the description below as usual so you can see it. And I hope you can see it here on my tablet. This is one of the amazing pens they have there. This pen, the model is called Cygnus. It's made of yellow resin, and you know I'm crazy about yellow pens, and it's not this sky glue pale yellow, it is a bright yellow resin, beautiful, with this beautiful shape. I know this is a shape that we have seen with some variations in some other brands. with this particular shape, I never saw it exactly like this, and I'm really curious, and I don't know if I can let one of these pens go. I think I will have to buy one when I have the funds for it. Here you have it uncapped, and you see they use a number 6 Yovo nib, and they do something that I really like, is that they the nibs are branded with their brand, and I think this is something that is important. I think it's important for the makers to have their signature, and the nib, I think it is the right place to put the signature of a pen. So I saw this one and I was really impressed. This is a pen that will cost around 300 euros, and I'm sure it is worth it. I just can't afford it now. Another pen that I saw was this one, and this one is really amazing for me. I'm not seeing it live on the website, because when I do that, the internet always fails on me, so I downloaded some pictures and I'm showing you the photos that I got. I recorded here on the tablet. This one has not the nib engraved, but I think the nib will come engraved. I'm not sure if it comes engraved in every pen, but it has the branding engraved on the barrel. And you see, this is a transparent barrel with this kind of smoky thing. That one was called Cygnus. This one is called Telescopium. It is the name of the model. It is very straight, very simple, flat top, very, very simple. I like it a lot. And what amazed me the most was this material. I think this material is great. It is kind of a demonstrator, but it's not clear acrylic, and it's not smoke acrylic, like very... The color is not... How can I say? The gray part of the color is not even throughout the pen. And I looked at this pen, and this pen made a lot of sense to me, because I looked at it and I thought, wow, this looks like a glass artifact that was uncovered. It was buried somewhere, and it was uncovered by an archaeological expedition, and they found this. This is an old piece of glass that has some centuries and was there forgotten, and I think I love that. I think I love how imperfect it looks. They have every pen in many colors, so you can check them and choose, but I thought this color really impressed me. It is also available in yellow, so you could have that in just plain yellow, and I love yellow, but this kind of material, never saw this one, and I think it goes a step further, because you see something that doesn't look completely perfect and you like it just because of that. That's my opinion, at least. I like it more because it doesn't look perfect. And I have some more pens here. This is another one, another model. I'm not sure, I think this is Hydra or Hydra. It is an interesting resin. They hand turn the pens from acrylic. Sometimes they don't have them in stock, so they have some in stock, some they have to make as the orders come, and they even started making their own resins, and I think this is amazing, because you can have really some very exclusive resin designs. This is another one, like an amber color, very beautiful. This is another model. I'm sorry, I didn't write all the models, you can check there. And this is another one that really is impressive. This kind of look of the pen, this cigar-shaped pen, big size, red. I think this is a beautiful pen. If you ask me if I could buy them like this, I would buy this one, the Telescopium in that nebulosa or nebula resin, and this in yellow. This pen is amazing. This is the pen. This is the kind of pen that I love. So I wanted to share this with you, because I think people who make this kind of stuff deserve to have some publicity. And if you go to his website and if you buy some pen from him, or if you want to send him a message about how you feel about their designs, please don't forget to tell him that you knew about the brand here on my channel. I think it will be nice that he knows why I used his photos and if these meant something to him. I hope he will sell more because I show them. I think a brand like this really deserves it. So if you want to do something with them, any business with them, please tell him that you got the information here on the channel, if that is the case, and if you want it, of course. Let's now go for the last 3 topics of this video. First one is that little thing that I started on a few videos ago. This series is not that long also, but I did that, which is to include the uncommon pen of the day. And today it will be uncommon pen of the day will be, what do you think? I will show it to you. It is easier. The uncommon pen of the day for today is this thing. And this. And this. So this is what I call uncommon. And what do you think about this? You'll say, oh, that's a Parker 45. Of course it is. Yes, it is. It has the arrow nib, the clip. Some pens with arrow clips are not Parker, but we can say that originally they are. So this, yes, this is a Parker pen, and you may say that is a Parker 45. Yes, it looks like a Parker 45, but let me just show you. I have here a Parker 45. Also in the same blue. I have a Parker 45 in the same burgundy, and I have a Parker 45 in the same black. And as you can easily see, I will take the blue and black away. As you can easily see, the pens are not exactly the same. So which is the difference? The biggest, or why can't you talk this just like a variation of the Parker, like a shorter variation of the Parker 45? Because it is not. There are some pens that have some common features, but that doesn't mean that they are the other pen. Sometimes there is kind of strange evolutions that go to the same ending point. And first, let's check a Parker 45. The Parker 45 is this pen that you pull the cap and you have this nib that can be easily removable. You just remove this black this black part that unscrews and you put it back back again, this one or another, and you have this original kind of converter that has the Parker logo there, and it says Parker beneath or over the logo there, Parker, and it is kind of a squeeze filling system. You just squeeze this and it will suck the ink from the bottle. So this is a Parker 45. It was the first cartridge pen, at least the regular concept of cartridge that we have today, from Parker, from the 1960s, and this is the pen. So what is the difference, besides size? Is that you may pull the cap, but the cap will not come out, because you need to unscrew, and that's strange. And then you have the nib, and the nib is the same, and the nib, this nib color is the same, so you can exchange nibs between the two pens, because the construction is the same. And when you open this pen, and you open this pen, you see they have different. They have the same filling system, but this one has a band there, this one does not. And if you try to mix the parts and you put the, you can distinguish the barrel of the Parker 45 from the barrel of the Parker, the other one, I will tell you the name in a moment, because the other one has the threads and the Parker 45 doesn't. And so if you want to put the barrel of the 45 on the other one, it simply doesn't fit. So the parts are not the same, except for the converter, of course, the clip, and the cap. Oops, I'm mixing all these up. So here you have it, and the caps are different, as you can see. So this is the shorter and this is the bigger. So you saw how this compares with Parker 45. It looks like the same pen. I have to say that the name of this model is Parker Slimfold. This is a pen that you don't see very often out there. It was made in England between 1971 and 1975, so it was not that common, and we can understand that easily, I suppose. And it is called Parker New Slimfold. I don't have, it is not, they are not inked, so I cannot write with them. They are the Parker New Slimfold. And where does the name Slimfold comes from? Okay, let's go to that. If we think about Slimfold, we may remind ourselves of the Duofold. And we have this. This was the Parker Senior Duofold, the big red from the 1920s and 30s. It was the American first release. Then they stopped making that because it was replaced by the Parker Vacuumatic. Okay. Later, in the, I think, end of 50s and 1960s, I don't have these dates really on my head, so around that time, Parker, the English part of Parker, decided to reintroduce the Duofold line, but not with this flat top design. They went for a new, completely new stuff, which is called the British Duofold, which is a Duofold that has a cigar shape. It's this pen, so it is quite long. This is compared with the Senior Duofold, with this arrow clip, gold thing, black jewel there, plain barrel, and you have this nib. They have different sizes depending on the model. You see there, this is the nib number 35, and that depends on the size of the pen. And this pen is an aromatic filling pen, so you dip these in water and you do this like that, so it doesn't take cartridges. And this is quite a nice pen, and I have to say that the material of this pen smells really good. I'm a little bit crazy smelling pens, but I love to smell I love the smell of this pen. So it is a very simple pen. And when they released this pen, they released it in several sizes, from a lady size to a bigger size. This is the Duofold, there was also the Duofold Maxima, which is this one. And you can see it's not much bigger, but it is bigger. It has a wider cap band. And when you uncap both pens, you see that the nibs are from different sizes. This one on the Maxima is a bigger nib, and it has an arrow shape, and that those don't have. This is a number 50, I'm not sure if that's written, yes, it's there. Number 50, and this is a number 35 nib. So there are some variations, and if we compare this Duofold with the Parker Senior Duofold, you can see the size is about the same. It is a little slimmer, but the length is the same. So it was the equivalent to that one. But then, as I told you, there were other sizes, and one of those sizes, which is not the smallest, was this. And this is called the Parker Slimfold. And the Parker Slimfold had a much smaller nib. This number 5 nib. This one has a very big tip. So I would say this is like a broad or something like that. And I think that this pen needs some cleaning because I'm inking up my hands with it. Okay, so this will be a stupid thing because of my other discussion on this video. So you can see there are big differences on the nib. Okay, so all this to tell you that Parker at some time decided to make the Parker Duofold. Again, the British Duofold, and there were various sizes, and one of the sizes was called, it was not even called Parker Duofold, it was called Parker Slimfold, and it's even written there. Parker Slimfold, oh please focus, made in England. This is the Parker Slimfold, and when you compare with the new Slimfold, you'll see that the size is roughly the same. But when they discontinued this pen, they decided to make it with this design, using the same kind of nib as the Parker 45. And I think that is easy to understand that when you have this pen and you have, let me get the blue one just for comparisons, and you have the Parker 45 that is a little bit bigger, has the same system, the capping system is a little different, I understand that people would prefer this one than this one. And that is more obvious because this pen was introduced in the 45, in 1960, this one in 1971, and it was an evolution from this one. So if you had that, you really had a different design. The design evolved with that disappearing, and when these were already established, there came this other size with the screw cap. So I can easily understand that people said, just for having that mini Parker 45, and it's not that mini, I would stick with just the Parker 45, and I understand that these lost their place because they would be very similar in the writing experience. They have much smaller nib for it. Actually, it has a gold nib. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. I think this is kind of an uncommon pen of the day. It has a question mark just because when I wrote I didn't tell you which pen it was, and because I want you to tell me if you think this is really an unusual pen, if you already knew about this one. It's not that well known, and if you are into collecting stuff, yes, it may make some sense to get one of those. If you're just wanting to find a pen to write with, it is easier to find a Parker 45. The next topic I want to talk about is that expression, that question that I see lots of times online, on Facebook, on some other pen groups, when people, let's say some people consider pens with steel nibs like the basic thing when they start with fountain pens. And at some point, some people love to say, now it's time to upgrade for a gold nib pen. So it makes sense, at least for some people, to, after they tried some pens, now it's time to upgrade to a gold nib pen. If going for a gold nib pen is an upgrade or not, it's a completely different discussion that I think I will bring again in some other video, but I will not talk about that specifically. I'm just talking about the question is really which is, let me write that to use my pens. Which is the best, most affordable gold nib pen? So this handwriting is awful. So which one is the most affordable gold nib pens? And here the opinions may be very, 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 very different. But if you ask me about these, I would give you two different answers. And very simple ones, I think. But to give you the correct answer, I need to ask you a previous question. Do you want a vintage or a modern pen? Because I have two replies for that. It depends. For vintage, I have an option, and for modern, you have another. This is, I think, this is understandable because some people want just a gold nib pen to try. Some people are not afraid to try old pens. Some people prefer to have a new pen that they can send it back if it's not okay, or if it needs some warranty work on that. So that is something. And I would say, and let's go with the vintage or the modern first. Let's go with the modern first. The first pen that I think it's the most affordable and best. I'm sure there will be some other answers to these that I'm not remembering right now. But my option would be this little thing. This is a Pilot Elite. It is called Pilot Elite 95S here in Europe. It is called Pilot E95S in United States. So in one place it's called Elite, in the other it's just an E. You can find older pocket pens like these online, so you can go vintage. But for vintage I would not recommend these ones, just because. So for modern I would go for that. You may say, but that is a pocket pen. Yes, it is a pocket pen. It's quite small, but when you write with that, because it has this lip cap, and when you post it, because they are not meant to write like these, you can do it, but they are not meant to write like these. If you post them, they become a really full-size pen. So remember about my Senator President, which is the same size roughly of Montblanc 149, and you see that the Pilot Elite is even larger, is longer than the Montblanc or the President. And if you like to post, that is a very good excuse to post. And if you don't like to post, you will post it anyway because it's more comfortable like that. So if you ask me which is the best gold nib pen, I would say it's this one. It has a beautiful nib, and additionally it is kind of unusual shape of nib, and it writes really well. Pilot nibs are always very good. You have a wide range of sizes of nibs, and this is a great pen. This pen will cost you new around 125 euros. Here in Europe, maybe less expensive in some other places, but you have here a good pen for all your life. It is a cartridge pen, so if you are talking about people that are starting with pens, it is a cartridge converter, so it's very easy to operate. There's nothing strange about it. You can take cartridges and use the cartridges, I would prefer, but because it has a converter, it has the converter stored here because it's not in use. But if it would be in use, I would not use the converter because these ones are opaque. I don't see if they have ink inside, and if it was one of those kind of piston, all the transparent part would be inside the section and I would not see the ink level, so doesn't matter. So I would always use a cartridge, and yes, I reuse Pilot cartridges because they can be reused almost forever, and I refill them with the syringe, and I will put the little disc that seals the cartridge again inside, so I can refill my Pilot cartridge at home and seal them back again and take a few of them with my favorite ink, even if it's not Pilot. I have a video about resealing the Pilot cartridges, and I think that is a useful thing. So this is my choice for a vintage, for a modern pen. I would say that this is nice. Of course, if you want to go a little bit older, you can get a pen similar to this one. The other versions of the Pilot Pocket pens that may be less or more expensive, it depends, but you have to gamble a little bit. And there is also another Pilot that is a little bit older, which is the Pilot Costume. They have lots of Pilot costumes, and this one has the same kind of nib. This one is white gold, the other one is the yellow gold. The same kind of nib, both gold nibs, and this is the, let's call it the full-size version. But for this full-size version you are going for an older pen, and most of times it is more expensive, sometimes it is less expensive, it depends. But this is my option for, my number one option for a first gold nibbed pen with in a modern version. So you can send it back to Pilot for repair or something like that, because this pen will have warranty if you buy it new, and I think this is really a great pen. I like it a lot. The other option that I would give you is to go vintage. And vintage has that aspect that is a little bit harder, because you may have a pen that may not be working. Okay, what I would say that you could do would be to go for this thing. And this is what it looks. This is a Parker Duofold, a vintage one from the 20s or the 30s. This one has a problem there. It has a crack on the cap. Sometimes that happens. I have the little piece that misses there, but I never glued it in place yet. So it is a very interesting pen that has a gold nib. It has a button filling system. This one has no sac inside, so it will not, I cannot show it to you. But I have some other let me put this back. I have some other there that, like this, that I bought, that has the filling system working. You just do this, and it will compress the sac inside. You can get these kind of vintage Parker Duofolds for sometimes 60 euros, 40 euros, so it's quite inexpensive. This one I bought for less than 60, and it was repaired, it was ready to write. So what could we ask for more than this? The pen is quite in good shape, but it has a problem, and sometimes that happens. You look at that and it doesn't have the original Parker Duofold nib, but it has a Parker Vacuumatic nib. It is also a gold nib. It has a different feed, because on these pens the right feed would be a Christmas tree feed. I have here a very rare one. This one is very difficult to find. This will be very expensive. I don't have a cap or the blind cap for it. I just have it. I have to sell this because I have no use for it. But you can see it has a Parker Duofold nib, gold nib, and it has this kind of Christmas tree shape. So this is a very good option. Not like this, because it's not ready to work, but I bought this ready to work. It had a new ink sac inside. You may say, but that doesn't happen all the time. Yes, that doesn't happen all the time, but I would say that the button filler is the easiest pen to fix, because what you have to do is to, let me see if I can, no, this one, it's not that easy to show it to you. I cannot remove this. I would need to remove the button, and I cannot do it right now. But, so I cannot show it to you. I would like to show, let me see if I can do this. Okay. It is quite easy to repair these pens, because they usually are in working condition. Otherwise, you just need to, let's see if I can focus these. You can, oops. You just need to remove the old parts of the old sac that will be glued here. and that is there. They usually have the bar and the button, so you just need to put here a new ink sac, and they are quite affordable, so you can have this fixed for maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 euros. If you have to buy the shellac and the bar and the button, it may be a little bit more expensive, but it's really easy to do or have someone doing that for you. So this is really a great way. You can have one of these pens for around 100 euros, I would say. When you compare it with the Elite, it is the same kind of pen. However, this one is made to be posted. This one you can post it, but it doesn't post. It posts in a stranger way, but it posts and it becomes of the same size. So I would say this is a really great option. You just need, if you go on eBay, you just need to find the pen and try to see if it is working condition or if it was restored, and if you know how to replace the sac. As I was showing, this is like the short version of this one, and this pen, or this, is the short version of the Parker Senior Duofold. You can see the Senior Duofold is much bigger and wider, and it has a much bigger nib. But if you are just starting and if you want to try to see what a gold nib is, I think this is a great option to start. It is very inexpensive. It depends on the type of pen or the color, the variation, but you can have a very good pen for a good price. I will just show you one of my favorite Parker Duofolds, and it is this little thing. This is a very stupid pen. I bought it very inexpensively. I think it cost me around 20 euros. It was some years ago, but around that price. So it was really worth it. But what I have to say about this should be a green pen. All the pen should be brighter than it is here. And it is like almost black or dark brown, because it is heavily discolored. The imprint is very worn, and I just I applied some green crayon here to make it stand out, because I just wanted. The pen is not that good. It has some bite marks here on the end of the button, and the button is faded and it is worn, because it should have these, you see, this little texture. It doesn't have any on this version. It is so used. The same on the top. Here you can see it better, but if you compare it with one in a decent size, although this has teeth marks there, but you can see this one is not in good condition at all. The hard rubber is brown. This is very brittle. If you look at the cap, you'll see there are lots of little cracks on the material. So this celluloid is falling apart, really. But the pen was quite inexpensive, and it has the original Christmas tree feed. It has a gold nib that writes well. It is very wet, this pen, interestingly, and even the nib is cracked. You can see next from the breather hole you have a crack going down. So this pen is not in good shape, and even the tines are not that. Can you focus? No, I don't think so. Almost. Okay, but even the tine is not perfectly aligned. But what happens is that this pen writes smoothly and very wet, and it is a very good pen. So it is one of those fun things. I think the sac is becoming stiff, but it still works. So very easy to use. You know that you have a pen that has, I'm not sure exactly about the year of this pen, but this is a pen that is almost 100 years old. It becomes a full-sized pen. It is nice to write with, and it's not that valuable because it's in bad shape. But if you think isn't it nice when you save one of those pens? You will not restore it to new condition because it's impossible to restore these because the material is quite ruined unless you replace all the parts. But it is amazing because the pen is ready to write, is in good working condition, although for collectors it's not. So if you go to check online pens with gold nibs to be your first pen, go for the pens that are not they are not in collector's condition. I just want to make a little remark. This is a very good pen. I don't think I will ever sell this one because this is kind of personal to me. I like it because how bad it looks. But if you ask me one of my favorite pens, it would be this one. This is a Parker Challenger. You can see there a Parker Deluxe Challenger, which has a very beautiful material. That is the ones that are wrapped like these. It is a very beautiful pen. It is well used, I know. This one is in working condition. It was I think it was the first pen that I restored. It has a beautiful nib. Also with a, no, this doesn't. I think this has a crack, but it's in the base of the nib inside. This pen writes well. These can go for much higher prices than the Parker Duofold, but sometimes you can check one of those. So if you are beginning on pens, maybe you will not be fast enough to identify this pen and to buy it for a reasonable price. It may be of the same price as a Junior Duofold, but it may be more expensive. It depends on the luck you have, on how hard you search. But if you search for one of those, you can get it quite inexpensively, I would say 60, 80 euros. And if you ask me, yes, it is worth the money. So, these are my options for not pocket pen, although they are kind of pocket pens, my first gold nib pen. And now, let's go for the last topic, and it's not that a serious one, it's more like a fun one, but I would like to know your opinion about that. It is and it happened to me in this video. It is something that I read sometimes, and it is about Inky, hands and fingers. Some people say, yes, the hands are made to be dirty with fountain pens because that means that you are a user of them and you like them and you enjoy, and you have to be proud on your, let's call it your war scars of the ink in your hands. I agree to an extent that you should not be ashamed if you have ink in your fingers, because it is something that may happen if you use fountain pens. However, and it happened because of that Slimfold that I showed you, if you ask me, do you like to have your hand like this? No. I will need to go to the post office after this video, and if you ask me, will I try to remove this before I go to the post office? Yes. Are you ashamed? No, I'm not. But I don't really like it. This is my opinion, just mine, and I only apply it into myself. If I see someone with the hands covered with ink, I will not say anything to that person. It is so. Each one knows how they like to do stuff. It's not on me to judge. I'm not judging. I'm just talking for myself. I don't think it makes sense to say, no, I'm proud because I use the pen, so I have my hands full of ink. And in my head, I always look at that like, imagine a surgeon that would say, no, I have always my clothes full of blood because I work on people and I'm a surgeon. No, usually the surgeons are very clean, they have their hands clean. Of course, when they are performing a surgery, there will be blood. When they come out of the surgery, they will be clean, they don't walk around an hospital with their clothes full of blood. And this is the same thing. This is the blood of my little patients, of my little friends. I don't like to have their blood on my hands just because I don't think it makes sense. It's not because I work on that I'm allowed to be full of them. It's like if you go to a restaurant and if the waiter has all his clothes dirty from food, okay, I know he works with food, he may be dirty with them, but you don't like to see that. That's what I think. But I don't like to see my hands like that. Actually, when I see other people with ink stains on their hands, in a way, I like to see that because I know, oh, that guy also likes fountain pens. That's what I usually think. So that's a good part of it, but that's how I see it on others, not I see on myself. So if you ask me, what about inky hands and fingers? I hate it. I don't blame anyone, but I don't like to have my hands like this. And this is nothing. Sometimes it gets much worse. So I would like to have your opinions about this. Do you mind to have to have inky hands or inky fingers, or is it just a part of the hobby and you don't care to clean them extensively? So these were the topics for today. I thought the video would be a little bit shorter, but I don't think it is. Now I will end this video by inviting you to check the description because there will be links for some of this stuff. I think the information about at least the list of the pens that I showed you, and also the questions that I made about the next review, about your thoughts on inky hands, and your thoughts on the Slimfold, and your thoughts on the first gold fountain pen. So this is it. I hope you enjoyed and have a nice weekend. Bye.